Beautiful title, Strong Roots, Sweet Fruits. Okay, but today's thing is all going to be about finances. Yeah. Though the first few photos that I'm going to show will show you fruits only. Okay. Anyone who's into birding out here? Yes. So which bird is this?
It's a barbet.
Yeah, it's a barbet. It's a brown-headed barbet, which I saw just about 100 kilometers from here at Dandeli Forest. Okay, the Dandeli Timber Depot. So this is the brown-headed barbet. This one?
Coppersmith.
Yes, Coppersmith barbet. Same tree, same fruit. Yes, hornbill. This is the Malabar grey hornbill. Same tree, same fruit. Okay.
Heart-shaped woodpecker.
Yeah, this is the heart-spotted woodpecker. Okay. Very, very, very rare bird. One of the birds for which I travelled all the way there to see, which, you know, I was lucky to see. Same tree, same fruit. And lastly, okay, the Malabar pined hornbill, same tree, same fruit, all of them in a span of about 1.5 hours at the Dandeli Timber Depot. And all these, the fruit out here, okay, since we are talking about fruit, comes from one of the most important trees in the world, especially for birds, especially for wildlife, and that is the fig tree. Okay, fig trees are trees which the biggest size and the strongest roots. For example, okay, look at this guy. This is a green, yellow-footed green pigeon. Looks like he can't take off after eating so many fig fruits. Correct? He has just gorged himself, and he looks like one of those plump, 10-month-old kids that are there at home. Now this is a fig fruit. Any guesses where this tree is? This is the Mahabodhi tree at Bodh Gaya, where the Buddha got enlightenment. Okay, so that's how important it is. The peepal tree is a fig tree. This is the banyan tree, which is a fig tree. So the trees with the most important fruits have got the strongest roots. Okay, those strong roots enable them to survive and produce the fruits. So in birding parlance or in wildlife parlance, we call the fig tree a keystone species. That is, if you remove that one particular tree away from it, so much of wildlife gets affected. Okay, there is a particular fig tree in Palakkad in Kerala where birders go just to see that one tree for a whole day and do a species count. And it has been observed that 50 to 60 species of bird come and go from that tree. One tree, one big banyan tree or a fig tree in Palakkad. So there are not only roots under the ground, there are roots over the ground also. Okay, so that's why strong roots, very sweet fruits. You saw the product of the sweet fruits, correct? How important the sweet fruits were. So let's see, I've given you this bhashan about strong roots, sweet fruits. Let's look at the proof of the pudding. This is no pudding at all. Okay, this is a nice chocolate cake. Now, to make a chocolate cake like this, the ingredients are very important and the process is very important. I will try and convince you with a real life story. Okay, so this story hopefully will change the life of many little stars out here. So who are the little stars out here? Who are the kids below the age of 10 out here? I can see, yes. What's her name? Aiden. A-D-O-N. Aiden. Okay. Then there's Aiden has got a neighbor. Name? Spelling or Zach? Zach. Okay. Aiden, Zach. I'll forget your name. I'm such an old man. I'll forget your name within 10 minutes. You have to keep repeating it. Okay. Spelling? Kazaya. Okay. What a beautiful name. First time in my life I'm hearing it. Kazaya. Yes, young man. Your name? He has decided not to tell his name. He has only decided to lift his hand. That's it. Your name? Yes, he is giving me such a tough stare. How dare you ask my name? He is now sulking before his father. Who's his uncle is asking, only teacher asked my name. Only in school I am told. No, he's told his father, don't tell my name to him. Correct, no? This is, so we'll have to do a full KYC to get his name out now. Okay. Then this side, that girl, we woke her up from sleep. Your name? Ritika. Okay. Ritika. Vedika. Okay, Vedika. Fine. Anyone else? So Aiden, Zach, Mr. Master X. Okay. Vedika and Kazaya. Okay, fine. So they are the little stars. So this is a story about someone who did something like what you were doing much, decades back. This is the story of Gauri. Okay, Gauri S. Patil from Hubli. This is, I am going to show the journey of her investments, of course, with her permission. Okay, her investments were started by her father, Mr. S.F. Patil. Okay, and this is how it started when Gauri was even younger than Zach. Okay, at such a young age, she started it in 1999. 2,000 rupees put in the scheme at an NAV of 16.930. Okay, there was an entry load at that time, so she got 116 units. Okay, in 1999, when she must have been maybe 2-3 years old. Continued, the SIPs continued in 1999. Went on. You must remember it was in a dividend plan at that time. So the dividends, she took the dividends. Okay, the dividends went out. And of course, the number of units would have come down because the dividends went. I'm sorry, the NAV would have come down because the dividends went. It went on for about 3 years like that. Purchases and SIPs. And once the laws of dividend changed, dividends became slightly disadvantageous. It was more advantageous to be put in growth plan. The father shifted the money to the growth fund. The growth plan of the same fund. Okay, but they did not redeem from the fund, even though 1999 to 2002 were very, very tumultuous years. I would say 1999 to 2002 was possibly the most disturbing years for mutual fund investors. What happened from 1999 to 2002? If you have been through 1999 to 2002, you can be through any phase. You know, like Rajni says, everything else is jujube. Okay? If you can go through that phase, any other phase in investing looks like child's play. So what happened from 1999 to 2002 to make it so disturbing for mutual fund investors? Remember, mutual fund as an industry was very, very young at that time. What happened? Do some flashback and let me know. Sorry? Ketan Parekh, very, very true. Ketan Parekh scandal. Then, what else? You had the .com meltdown. Okay, complete collapse of infotech shares, tech shares, complete collapse. Like you had tech funds which had NAV of 10 rupees, which came down to NAV of 3 rupees, 4 rupees. 60-70% fall in value. Okay, it was that bad. Along with it, the entire market collapsed, and then one very particular Indian thing happened. A scheme called US 64 got caught up in that scandal which you were talking about, and that also was hit by a scam. The Unit 64, collapse of Unit 64. Now that one particular scheme, Unit 64, at that point in time was bigger than the entire equity mutual fund industry put together. So when such a big name falls, all the other funds suffered. It was bigger than all the other equity funds put together. It was that dominant, and that collapsed because of the scam. And then, of course, you know, in 2001, you had the WTC terror attack, and the world went into a tailspin. So despite all of that, of course, Gauri as a child did not understand any of this. Okay, credit to her father for having continued that investment. That is the important part of it, through the ups and downs. So they started off again anew, okay, just change the option from dividend to growth. And it continued. The purchases continued. Right? So, right through whatever, Vajpayee was the Prime Minister at that time, it went on steadily. Continued through SIPs. Then there was, the government changed in 2004. Mr. Vajpayee very unexpectedly lost the election, and a new government came with the support of the communists and Marxists. The market did not take to it nicely. The market corrected. Despite that, the investments continued. Okay, and you can see how volatile the investments are. What was in 2005 55 rupee NAV has nearly doubled in 1 year's time. 1 year's time it has doubled. But the SIPs continue. Okay, maybe a little bit more affluence. The SIP amount has increased from 1,000 rupees to 2,500 rupees. It keeps going on and on. Then in 2008, what happened? If you look here, the NAVs have sort of come down by nearly half. The NAV peak here was 148. NAV down here is 86, 84, nearly half. Imagine having your portfolio cut by nearly half. You get a statement from Dr. Celso, your portfolio is worth 40 lakhs. And in just about 6 to 8 months, you get a new statement saying your portfolio is worth only 25 lakhs. That much, 15 lakhs has been wiped out from notional value. How will you feel? Despite all of that, the purchases were on. A good thing to notice it, at the depth of the bottom of the market, the father decided to make a lump sum purchase also. So he got much more units when the markets were so low. So the story continued. It continued. It went on when the UPA government won another term. It continued. It went on. So it's going on and on. In 2012, now the NAVs are no longer 10 rupees, 15 rupees and all. The NAVs are all in the 200 region, and now it is ended at 300 region. And now she is, if you look at this, she is nearing 10,000 units of accumulation, 9,700 units of accumulation, and now the NAV is near 334. So if you do 9,700 into 334, she was worth that much in 2014. Now, of course, a new government came in 2014 and the market went up like anything. Okay, what was in the hundreds range entered the 300 range within a matter of about 12 to 14 months, because a new government, ushered in hopes and a lot of optimism. So it went on and on, 2016, 17, 18. Now the SIP amount increased from 1,000 to 2,500, 2,500 to 5,000 rupees. And the NAVs are no longer in the 100, 200 region. They have 300, 400, 500 rupees. And she's now got 10,457. Now to accumulate more and more units, it is becoming very tough for her. Earlier she could accumulate 100, 200 units with every purchase. Okay. In the beginning, if you go back, okay, even with just 1,000 rupees, she could accumulate 13 units. Okay. Now, with 5,000 rupees, she can accumulate only 22 units. So it's becoming more and more tough for her to accumulate. 5,000 rupees here, only 11 units. Earlier, 5,000 rupees, 13 units. So it's becoming tough for her to accumulate more and more units, because the value of a unit is increasing like anything. But still they have persisted. So 2018, 19, she has now crossed 10,000 units. Okay. Now in 2020, that means she has been continuously investing for the last 21 years. Okay. And she crossed 10,000 units. She crossed 10,000 units before she could even vote legally in India. Okay. She must have crossed about 60 to 70 lakhs worth of accumulation before she could even vote in India. So that's the sort of foundation that her father created for her. Okay. So it is going on. Then all through, if you look at it here, you had in 2020, April and May, you had the COVID scare. COVID hit the stock markets also very badly. So an NAV of 506 has come down to NAV of 359. Okay, it's a very, very big drop in net asset value. What is 506 has come to 359, but the show must go on. She is putting 5,000. Let me fast forward to the latest. She is now contributing 12,000 rupees every month to the SIP, and she is clearly very, very long term. 232 installments. Okay, that means like 20 years she is committing, and she is only in the 27th installment of it. And she is now having 11,107 units. Okay, it's an incredible uninterrupted story from 1999 to 2023. But picture abhi baki hai, because every story also deserves moral of the story, correct? Right? So this is the summation of her investment. She has invested something like 14 lakhs. She has invested 14 lakhs, that's a cost. And the portfolio is worth 1.03 crores. 14 lakhs investment, 1.03 crores, and it looks absolutely painless, correct? It looks like she has got to 1 crore without breaking into a sweat. Started with 1,000, went to 2,500, went to 5,000, now it is 12,000. So as and when there are in between some purchases, ad hoc purchases also. So it has never looked like a tension. It has never looked like it's going to be a problem. They have dictated a pace, and that pace has given tremendous results, 1.03 crores. No distractions in between. Is this fund a 5-star rated fund, 3-star rated fund? People are telling rumors that this fund is not doing well. Nothing like that. Okay, single-minded focus on one fund and trying to get all the returns that the market can give them. Okay, always participating in the market, no profit booking, no switching, no silly distractions like that. Okay, just continue going on and on. In her first purchase, she got 116 units for 2000. The very first purchase she made in 1999. For 2000 rupees, she got 116 units. Today, not on today, say December 4th, today the NAV is even more higher. On December 4th, if she wanted 116 units, the same 106, suppose she had a sudden bout of nostalgia, I want 116 units. How much would she have to pay? Now to purchase 116 units, she would require 1,08,116 rupees to purchase the same 116 units. That's how much the NAV has increased by. If you do a simple XIRR, okay, that is a compounded growth rate of that investment from the first day, that is 5th May 1999 to 4th December 2023. Any guess what is the return of the fund? Any guess? What is the returns? How much it has grown per annum? Any guess you can make? What do you think is a good equity return over the long run? 30 to 40. So I'm sorry if the fund has disappointed you. 30 to 40, you are in serious, God range. 15 to 20, very big range you have given. 15 to 16. Any other? It is 20.44%. Okay, which when I did this, I was frankly astounded because this is staggering returns. Imagine an investment giving you 20.44 every year. Okay, of course, you all know in a mutual fund you won't get, on a straight line 20.44. Sometimes it's too much up and then it cools down. Sometimes it crashes and then catches up. That's how it works. But if you do this calculation, it comes to 20.44%. Okay, by staying invested, she has given herself that 20.44. No distractions, no deviations, no double guessing, no trying to be too shana with the market. No, this is how investing needs to be done. Okay, picture abhi baki hai again, because I haven't told you the climax. Okay, the climax is staggering. This is Gauri, okay, and she is getting married right now in Hubli. Right now, what's the time in your watch? 12:35. Vishal would have tied a thali to her at maybe 5 minutes back. Okay, this is her story. Okay, her father is a friend and they are getting married right now. Okay, so I produced a flesh and blood example and she doesn't need the money. Gauri and Vishal are incredibly brilliant people. Both of them are PhDs in IISc Bangalore. Okay, one of the world's most premier science institutes. Not easy being a PhD out there. It's one of the toughest accomplishments. They are PhDs in IISc Bangalore. Okay, but the money keeps compounding. Okay, prime ministers may come, prime ministers may go, whatever happens, this one is a compounding machine. It is in her DNA. Okay, so this is what we hope. I am sure Dr. Celso also wants every little star. Okay, Aiden, Zach, Master X, Vedika, everyone to be the next Gauri, correct? Have the same time horizon, same singular purpose of creating wealth for the long run. Okay? As long as you don't need the money, it will just keep compounding. It will just keep compounding. Maybe when Gauri has her own Gauri, and that Gauri grows to be 23, 25 years old. I don't know. We can't even imagine what the portfolio value is. One thing, Gauri has ensured that the raw material supply, there's no supply chain constraint, correct? You saw the last account statement of us. 23 installments of 232 installments is on. That means there is a clear roadmap for the next, investing roadmap for the next 20 years. Okay, so that pathway is on. So the pathway or the intention to create wealth is clear. Okay, and this is the story. Now, coming back to proof of the, not the pudding, the cake. What could be the raw materials for such a perfect, when you make a good chocolate cake, what are the raw materials required for a chocolate cake? I'm sure some of you in this hall can make a very good chocolate cake. So what all is required for a good chocolate cake? Good quality cocoa powder, okay, chocolates, then flour, sugar, milk, eggs, baking soda, baking powder, butter, margarine, whatever, correct? So all that is required for a very good, you need the finest ingredients for a good chocolate cake. But will just the perfect raw materials do? What else is required? Yeah, you need to know how to mix those raw materials. The dry stuff you got to mix, the wet stuff you got to mix. You probably have to preheat the oven to the perfect temperature. Okay? They say that it will take at least 6-7 trials before you get a decent end product. That much of tribulations are there before you make the perfect chocolate cake. Okay? So all that, so you need a process also, very well. So Gauri had both the perfect raw materials, a dad who had the ability to invest in a name throughout her childhood, and of course the perfect process, the equivalent of 450 degrees oven setting, everything was there, on and on and on investing. So what do you think will be the perfect raw materials for such a perfect result? Now let us come back to investing. What are the two most important raw materials for investing? Investing like Gauri. Two most important raw materials.
Patience.
Patience, willpower. Okay, I've got another term for that. You are giving me the process in a way. Raw material. Finance, money. Correct. You need money. Then the other important raw material
Is the asset class itself.
Asset class itself. Okay. Or the raw material to invest in such an asset class. Anything else? The right mutual fund, the right advisor. True.
Future thought.
The thought, correct. You're all coming there. So anyway, I will tell it to you. First most important thing is savings. Okay. You need savings, very, very, very important. And the second most important raw material is time. Okay. If you just see, Gauri had both savings and time. Two most important raw materials. Choice of the scheme, least important raw material. As long as you have decided on the asset class, equity fund, okay, that is important. Within mediocre fund will give 15.4, poor fund will give 14.5, and that will keep on changing. Okay, So that is not so important. The asset class, equity, fund, and of course time. These two are very, very important. If these two are the most important raw materials for investing in equity funds. Now, even if you look at the savings part of it, savings of 10% of low income is good. It's at least a good starter. It is better than not saving at all. At one point in time, if you were like this in the US, you were abnormal because no one saved anything there. It took the subprime crisis, the global financial crisis of 2008 to get back some amount of saving culture in the US. Whereas in India, we have always been high savers. So even though that is now coming down, but let's assume you have a low income 10% savings rate. Good for starters. Even better, if even in a low income, if you can do 20% of that as savings, more raw material is going into the product. 20% of a higher income, that's even more brilliant. The most brilliant thing obviously is 30% of highest income. Okay? Your income, I definitely mean post-tax income. Okay? Because only that you can invest. So savings of 30% of highest income is the most perfect raw material for wealth creation. Okay? If you are having a savings rate of 30%, you need superb expenses management. Okay? You are doing something called budgeting. You are keeping a tab of your expenses. You are not doing anything unnecessary or impulsive. So that's why by doing expenses management, you are able to save a lot of money and put it for future compounding. So if you have income in the top bracket, 25 lakhs plus, that also shows you have superb human capital. So the takeout from this is, if you want great financial capital in your life, you definitely need to have the first step, superb human capital. Human capital, what is human capital? Human capital is your capability, is your skill sets, is your accomplishments, is your degrees, is your certificates. All of that is your human capital. Something that will help you earn more in life. So always focus on your human capital. You may be a good lawyer, but if you do another course, you can become even a better lawyer. If you network more, you can get higher earning, say, criminal cases. Okay, you can get much better quality litigation cases. If you are a doctor, you do more operations, you get more money. You make a name for yourself in a better hospital, you will, command your consultation fee. Okay, so that's how it works. So you focus on your human capital, leave the financial capital to Dr. Celso. Because you focusing on financial capital, how to invest is not going to give you that much extra money once you have the process. You have to focus on your human capital. How to make your earnings better through your capabilities and your abilities, your networking, your hard work, etc., etc. So if you can use your human capital, okay, then your income goes into the top bracket. So combine that with higher savings, and then you are giving yourself the best quality raw material for wealth creation. So two things very important from the savings point of view: superb expenses management, superb human capital. You are set. No one can rob you of a great life ahead with a lot of wealth. Okay, that's provided you also have a good portfolio. Okay, so these are the two stepping stones for future great portfolio. Then of course we are also looking at time Minimum, if you want to create wealth, should be 5 years. Minimum, okay? Though Gauri would not even give a second glance at you, okay? Because by that time she was 7 years old, she ticked off that 5-year thing, right? So this is sort of minimum. Better would be 10 years. I would say 10 should be the minimum. Because if you want to create wealth in equities, you should be there through an entire cycle of the economy. So what is the entire cycle of the economy? You know, you should go through all the cycles, a commodity cycle, an interest rate cycle, an expansion contraction cycle. There would be a political economy cycle also, okay? A left of center government, a right of center government, all those cycles will work out. Okay, high interest rate, low interest rate, you know, various cycles, you know, global recession, global expansion. So all those things will work out, you know, in each of the, you know, phases of the cycle. Some stocks will do well, some stocks won't do well. And that's how your portfolio, you know, generates return over a full cycle. So keep it as 10 years for you to experience one full cycle of the economy. 15 years means you are really, you know, buffeting yourself from various, you know, shocks in the economy, because you would have been buying over a long period of time. 25 years and you are now entering the Gauri zone. Okay? In the Gauri zone, you know, like Dr. Seltzer said, you have reached self-actualization. The ordinary, you know, pulls and pushes. Okay, Modi ji won 3 states. Okay, Modi ji lost 5 states. Okay, because now she has reached that zone. Okay, she has started from an NAV of 10 and now she has reached an NAV of 960 or 970 as of yesterday. Okay, the NAV falling to 920, 880 and all does not make much of a difference, because most of our purchases were made when the NAV was in double digits and, you know, 100, 200, 300, that type of region. So just imagine if you can combine this high savings rate with a very long-term horizon. Now this is the mantra for wealth creation. This is the only known mantra for wealth creation. All the others are matters of luck and, you know, gossip and grapevine. This is the only real known mantra. Because with such a high savings rate and such a long-term horizon, you can take risk. At 5 years, you're not even going through a full cycle. At 5 years, at the time of your redemption, the market may be in a down cycle. Economy could be under a recession. Okay? So, if you give yourself 25 years, you have been through maybe 2-3 expansion and contractions in the economy. Full cycles you have been through. Okay? So, that's why, you know, if you have combined both of this, you can take a lot of risk. And even in risk, one, the earlier thing I showed was the ability to take risk. Risk ability means you have the financial wherewithal to take risk. That is called risk ability. Okay, market has gone down. I don't need the money now anyway, so I'll wait for the market to come up. That is called risk ability. Risk willingness is, you know, your psychological ability to embrace risk. Market has gone down. I am going to put more money. This is the best because I am getting blue chip stocks at a cheap price. Risk awareness is, you know, the risk in its truest form. Okay, risk is temporary, risk is fall in value, risk means opportunities, etc., etc. Like Warren Buffett in one of his in one of his annual general meetings said, say, if you are someone of, you know, Zach's age or Vedika's age, what is the best way for Zach or Vedika to create wealth in the future? He says for the first 3 years of their investing life, there should be a raging bear market. Okay? Imagine a bear market where net asset values get pulped and, you know, thumped to record lows. And Zach and Vedika are buying units at that point in time. When the bounce back happens, they are going to, you know, get supernormal returns. If you want 20.44% per annum, that's the only way to do it. Okay, if you're going to time the market, exit whenever you're anxious, enter whenever you're greedy, you will get about 8 to 9%. Because you have lost all the best days in the market, you have entered in the worst days in the market. Okay, worst days are what? When the market is at a high. Best days are when the market is at a low. That's how the market works. So, just to sum it up, more the income, lesser the expenses, more the income because of your good human capital, lesser the expenses because of your ability to manage expenses. That means more the savings, more the raw material for your financial plan. Earlier you start, okay. What is Vedika's age? 6 years. Zach's age? 3 years. Zach has got a huge head start over Vedika. 3 years extra. You saw what could happen in the 3 years. Okay. So earlier you start. Zach is a true, we have to keep an eye on Zach. Lambi race ka goda hai now. He is anyone younger than Zach out here? No one. So Zach's marked as the guy with a great future. More the time you have. So earlier you start, more the time you have. Anyway, don't feel bad about Vedika. Vedika, if she starts at the age of 6, she has started earlier than 99.99999% of Indians. Zach at the age of 3, he has started earlier than 99. Add another 0.2, 0.9. That's it. So more the time and savings you have, more the risk you can take. Okay, you can invest in aggressive equity funds if you want to. You can ride the fund at the lowest of the market, make additional purchases when the lowest of the market, whatever. Okay, more the risk means higher the returns you would get. That's the mantra, that's the only mantra that was true out here and which is reflected in this statement. Like Buffett says, this is absolutely true. We don't have to be smarter than the rest. We have to be more disciplined than the rest. That's all. Keep continuing your SIPs and then you're on the pathway to investment riches. Just 2 ideas to end this presentation. One is a visual with a lot of crowded data, but I just want you to focus on this. There's one data here which says Navemarg 17,073. That means in the last month 17,000 crores came into SIPs in India. I'm sure Dr. Celso and Mayur will agree with me. In our dreams 10 years back, we never thought Indians will put, I mean, if you get 1,000 crores per month in SIPs, India is a great country. Now 17,000 crores per month in SIPs means per annum, we are headed to 2 lakh crores per annum in SIPs. And that SIP is coming from ordinary investors like you and me. Okay. Now this money is not going to, this is extremely stable money for the Indian capital markets. Okay. And this is extremely important because not just you, but millions of Indians are convinced about that SIP. So just not one Gauri is doing a job. There are millions of Gauris who are investing in the market today. So this, I put a political line here. Truly an example of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. Because everyone is in it together. Okay, everyone is in it together. Everyone is hoping for the best result. Okay, so that's why it is a truly magnificent investment avenue, doing SIPs. That was one thought. The second was on Friday, the market ended at unheard of or unimagined highs. Okay, the market ended at 71,483.75. Okay, I have taken the movement of the Sensex over the last 2 decades, last 20 years. Okay. Just want to highlight two things based on what Gauri's account statement also showed us. These were the two most brutal falls in the market. One was the global financial crisis, subprime crisis of 2008, and second was COVID scare, March 23rd, 2020. These were the two biggest falls in the market, and she did nothing. Okay, she did nothing silly when the markets crashed. Okay, this was a very, very brutal. This was not so brutal. The crash was not so much, though it looks too much. The crash here was not as much as this. Here the Sensex fell by 60% in 2008. That was really, really life-changing for many people. Many people became paupers, many people withdrew from the equity markets and all that. Because 60% means, you know, your portfolio, if you are a full equity investor, your portfolio value was 10 lakhs one day, and then the next, the next time you see your account statement is worth 4 lakhs. 6 lakhs just wiped out, of course, on a notional basis. She did nothing silly. But even more important is when the markets were on a raging high, again she did nothing silly. Okay? It is very easy to get carried away by high markets, because here the headlines would always be Sensex reaches all-time high. Okay? Thousands crores, pumped into the market and all that. Even then she did not get euphoric, she did not get carried away by the exuberance. In both the things, she was extremely, extremely sane, balanced, and, very, very determined. This is the final advice from the Guru himself. Ignore political and economic forecasts. They are expensive distractions for the long-term investor. Okay? So whatever is the political discourse, whatever is the economic discourse about the future, realize it is only crystal ball gazing. No one has any idea. I think the last 3 state elections should have proven to you that. Everyone was telling, exit polls have told that they are going to lose. When the counting happened, it was exactly the opposite. So you have, even through analytical tools, you are not able to guess the future. Want to end with what Dr. Celso has said, absolutely true. Okay? Start young, live rich, of course with the good doc himself. Okay? He doesn't know where he took it from. I did some Kufia Jasusi and I got it. Okay? So, great men don't repeat the words again. So he has deleted this, but I got this absolutely right. Okay? So thank you, doctor, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that story made sense to all of you. You liked it. Thank you. Happy investing. Thank you very much.